So what I want to show everyone now is one of several Graduate School of Education classrooms to give you a bit of a virtual feel of what it would be like in the classroom. And hopefully, you'll be joining me in this classroom sometime too. I always put the card in the opposite way to work. The nice thing is it's card swipe access, so it's easy to get into these rooms. But it locked that time, but we'll try one more time because I'm not talking when it's happening. Perfect. So why don't we come on in and show folks what you can expect. This is 214 Baldy Hall. I've had a few classes here myself. Notice right now it's set up to be socially distant. The room capacity is 20. Right now I believe it's usually about 35 or 40. So we have the ability for folks to be in here. One of the great things about this classroom in particular too is there are some options available to allow students to join virtually as well as join in person here. One of the great things about the Graduate School of Education is we're working and we're studying in a large research institution. However, when we get down into certain graduate programs, you might not see classes any larger than 20 to 24 students. In fact, that's preferred, and if not even smaller for certain seminar classes. Part of that experience is you want to have real in-depth conversations about the work, the practice, the research, and kind of the academic components that make GSE what it is. So for me specifically, I had a case study research methods class in here a few years ago. It was me and 14 other students. We got to have real in-depth conversations with our professor, sharing articles, sharing thoughts, and having a way to engage with the literature and with the work in real descriptive, rigorous ways. And this is just one of those classrooms where that can happen. And I know usually this classroom is set up in a circular fashion so that people can talk with each other across the room, sharing ideas. This is a bit of a safer perspective right now, but we wanted to give you a view and a kind of a look at what's going to happen here. I remember specifically too, one of the cool parts about having this classroom available is we would have folks come to each whiteboard or use our drop-down screen to think about in small groups to share ideas and then bring them back together in a bigger circle to talk them through as well. So here's one of our classrooms, and we hope you enjoyed seeing this, and we'll hop on to another one soon. So our next room is designed as a small conference room, small classroom, or a group project touchdown space. Let's go take a look. So if we head in here into 381 Baldy, you'll notice we've got only one space, computer, whiteboard, etc. However, this is really meant to be used as a multi-purpose space. Maybe you have a small doctoral seminar with only 6 to 8 students where you're part of a cohort, or you're really meeting on off hours or not at the same class schedule because you're going through a certain text or you're doing a project together throughout a semester. Great space for that. Maybe you're a student club or organization who needs a space to meet with some of your membership. You've got a space and technology to do that. Maybe you're working on a group project, you want to reserve some space to take half a day or take a few hours to work on said project. You want to have a whiteboard to throw out ideas. You're working on a PowerPoint, you need some space for your team to spread out. Here's what you've got here as well. The nice and great thing about Baldy Hall and the Graduate School of Education is you've got a number of these options throughout the 4 departments to be able to reserve that space, use that space, and figure out ways to meet in person or virtually as the hope of getting your work done. So this space, like I said, much smaller than some of the other ones we've seen, but meant to be that way and meant to be used by you, a future student, for a variety of reasons. All right, everyone, so our third classroom is in the Higher Education Student Affairs Program, or Education Leadership and Policy Department. This classroom is usually one of our key lecture seminar rooms. Typically holds 24 to 26 students for some of our core classes. Similar departments have rooms like this as well. However, right now, it is set up to be socially distant. So let's go in and take a look. Notice here, it's designed for each student to have their own specific space right now. Usually, you would see this room set up in a rectangle style, across here. Once again, similar to our first room, for engagement, conversation, people talking with each other, not at each other. However, right now, the realities of the situation are this is the best setup for students to have a meaningful in-person experience when they're having those classes. The faculty who are teaching and engaging with folks are able to use this kind of technology command center, both for the fact that they can teach live to online students as well because it's set up with camera. They can display the stuff that's on the computer successfully to both students in the classroom and virtually, and if they want to still hold some small group conversations based on what's happening here. Because as we know, when we're learning in groups here, we're learning at this level, it's not necessarily just a one-way communication street. We want to share ideas with each other, get feedback, and maybe challenge each other to think critically about some of the issues we're talking through in our classes. So as you can see here, the Grad School of Education has quickly turned around to make those few classes that are in person meaningful and impactful experiences for students and faculty still. Ideally, in the near future, we'll see this back to the way maybe we used to see classrooms, but for now, we flipped, we're prepared, and we're making sure that each student has the opportunity to take the courses they absolutely need to in person, but we're also being respectful of the variety of ways in which folks need to learn virtually, synchronously, and asynchronously as well. So once again, as you can see here, everything is set up so that we're in a properly socially safe distance away, but also can still have interactions and engagement with each other in the classroom setting. Well, it's great to see you all again. I hope the tour has been educational, informative, and maybe a little bit fun along the way. You've seen all 4 of our departments. You've seen some classrooms. You've seen what life looks like on campus, and maybe even heard a little bit about opportunities to engage and learn off campus as well. We appreciate you taking the time to listen, take some information in. Hopefully you jotted some notes down too. We are good note takers here in the Grad School of Education. But also, most importantly, we are still here to continue the conversation. So if you want to ask any questions, our phone number is 716-645-2110, or email us at gseinfo@buffalo.edu. Thanks again for joining us for this virtual campus tour, and we look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day.